chat about how I use unique learning systems in the monthly lessons and how I plan for that. So I have been using the curriculum Unique Learning Systems, or N2Y, for the last 8 years, and here are a few ways that I prepare for the monthly lessons to fit the unique needs of my students. So before we get into that, I want to know, what is Unique Learning Systems, or N2Y, is what you might be more familiar with. From the Unique Learning Systems website, it says, the N2Y story began in 1997 when a speech pathologist, Jackie Clark, wanted to help her students in special education increase their communication, comprehension, and socialization skills. Jackie created N2Y, a weekly newspaper designed to cultivate literacy, development using current events and relevant news, as a way to help learn students and get them to evolve. So did N2Y, transforming from print to digital to help individuals with special needs experience meaningful access to the world around them. So changing how special education is taught, N2Y is proud to help educators and families inspire those moments of discovery and wonder, celebrating 2 decades of being at the heart of learning, working side by side with you, the educators, to change the way students grow. So that was from their website. Step 1, this is what I do. Review the monthly topic. The first thing I do when the monthly topic in the monthly unit comes out, it's typically around the 15th of the month prior, I check it out. So you also have the teacher materials of the yearly topics if you want to get ahead, so you can see that now. On the hamburger menu of the top left corner, you will get a drop down and see the monthly lessons. I believe they're called units now. This is where you'll find the month before and the current month, or the current month and the month after, depending on the time of the month. So those are all available now for you too. This is the place you really want to look to find everything. So I typically like to start planning out about the 15th or the 20th of the month prior so that I can make sure I get all of the copies that I need set up and any homework or logins for the next month. That's all kind of how I prepare. If you have any materials for the monthly topic, this is also a good time to pull any of those materials that you already have in your classroom. Step 2, this is where I go and download and print any stories and the comprehension questions. At the top left side, you can see the months. Pick the current month or the month you are planning for, so if it's the next month. And on the right-hand side, you will see all the leveled books and comprehension and those questions that you need. And I always start with those materials and print the correct level for my learners, or all levels if I need all of them. So my students usually do better with the printed book in front of them, but we've also used the digital books as well on their computers or devices or iPads. Step 3, I download and print any N2Y library stories. The N2Y library also has a great resource for you to find supplemental materials. These materials are great to start the unit and give the definition and maybe some foundational skills for many of our monthly topics. So that's really great too. These stories also do not come with comprehension questions, so just keep that in mind when you're planning. On the hamburger menu at the top left corner, you will get a drop down and you will see N2Y library. And this is where you'll find many topics and stories in the variety of levels. You can search the monthly topic or any subtopics maybe related to the month that you are planning for. You can also specify the level of the reader that you want by using the levels in the drop-down menu. And I typically use these stories to go more in depth for the topic, so that kind of helps my students get more information. Step 4 is the life skills application process. I'm going to be honest, sometimes I don't use them. I don't use those life skills applications from Unique Learning Systems, and I always give them a glance over, but sometimes they just don't work for my students. Oftentimes the life skills applications is unrelated to the unit, which can sometimes be really confusing for the students, and I've also seen these activities be too difficult for my students to be able to do. Even when we use the modified or do it together as a group. It's just hard to do. I always look at these ahead of time and use them as a filler activity if we finish quickly or if we have 10 extra minutes of class. And these activities are typically quick and do not take up our 45-minute class. So just something to think about. If these work for you and your students, make sure to print them off and make copies as well. So that'll help save you some time in the long run. Many of these are cut and paste activities or hands-on experiences. So these are going to be put into your calendar in the next section. So this is where I start and create a calendar so I know what I'm teaching each week. Finally, with all the copies in front of me, I put it down on paper. If you're a digital person, use your online planner, or otherwise use a calendar. I'm definitely a paper pencil person, so the printable calendar is always what works for me and makes it so easy to erase or move a lesson if we need to, because we know those things happen. If we want to make a yearly unique learning system, make sure to check out my blog for more information. I usually spend 2 days on each story, so here's what it might look like. Day 1, I look through the pictures in the story on each page and talk about what my students see. They make predictions about what they think the story might be about. And after we go through and we read through the story all together as a group, and I ask 1 to 2 questions on each page to help with the students relate to it in their own life. I also add vocabulary words in there too. We may also watch a YouTube video or a Brain Pop video to explain the topic a little bit more. Day 2, we watch the video to remind us what the topic is. We read a story, asking 1 to 2 questions on every page or every other page just for a check for understanding. And then finally, my students work individually to answer comprehension questions at their own level. Sometimes we do this together too. I start with lesson 1 for unique learning systems, and on the first day of the first month or the first Monday of the month, whatever makes the most sense to you. And then every other day we change the chapters that we read, and I make sure to sprinkle in all those little life skills applications as well whenever they're applicable. So don't forget to plug any teacher training days or no school days when you won't be teaching onto your calendar, because that will help. And then for any extra days, I may do the life skills application, a craft or a writing activity about the unit to help tie it all together. So I hope that really helped you plan for your unique learning systems. Thank you for watching today's video. If you're new here, make sure to click that like and subscribe button. It would mean so much to me. Click the bell to get notifications for when new videos get released or I go live. As always, leave a comment if you have any questions.